Well, first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to meet with me and doing this video interview. And congratulations on April Associate Spotlight.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor.
Yes, it is an honor for me to have the opportunity. Thank you for also being one of the main, like, you're in a lot of our pictures. You know, when I asked, it's great. You're so photogenic, first of all.
Well, thank you.
When I asked Dave Creek to do the video testimonial for Conway Regional, I was supposed to be there, and then they were supposed to have some camera crew to come in and take some pictures while they did the video. And Reagan was like, well, they couldn't have the camera crew for conflict. And she said, I'll take some video or some pictures. And I said, great, thank you, because having some of just our Adafio office gets a little bland. I mean, you can only see so many of the same photos. So getting some photos of you guys who are behind the scenes a lot need to be celebrated, and they're so great. I want more. Like, I'm just like, when can I go get more photos? Just like chomping at the bit. But what I have, I'm just so grateful of you and Ryan and Alan Grubb, and the list goes on. So kudos. Thanks so much for helping with marketing.
Yeah, well, we're always happy to help, for sure. We love Adafio and what y'all do for us. So thank you.
Awesome. If you don't mind, would you just give us a little background on who Jordan King is and what you do for Adafio?
Yes. So I have worked at Adafio since November 4th of 2019. So just about 2.5 years now. Started out as a NOC engineer, but we ended up changing that to TOC engineer and a TOC systems specialist here at Conway Regional.
Okay.
So I worked from, genders all the way up to senior surgeons and C-level executives at Conway Regional, educate users, help them through daily issues, install software, and work on a lot of Microsoft 360, Office 365 stuff. So
a lot of
questions,
servers
and printers
that they have,
lots of questions.
Whatever it may be.
Yes, ma'am.
First, tell me what TOC stands for. TOC.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Technical Operations Center. The Network Operations Center, we as a team didn't feel like it really encompassed all that we did here at Conway Regional. So we actually changed it to Technical Operations Center because we do work on network stuff, but we also run through, like I said, Microsoft systems and then install hardware. Obviously, we all work on servers and printers, which goes along with network, but we go as far as changing which tray that prescriptions print out of and things like that. So it's not all just networking. So we ended up changing to the Technical Operations Center.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's a little bit more inviting to everybody who works at Conway Regional, that it doesn't feel like they're being excluded from having an issue. They know that whatever it may be, they can call you and throughout their service.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think it kind of keeps some of the younger engineers or people coming in from thinking that, oh, I chose a networking path, if they don't want to do that. If that's, what I mean? It kind of keeps it more broad, because we do get a broad skill set around in Conway Regional. I think it's a really strong way of doing things. I really enjoy it, and I think a lot of us do. So it's really nice for everyone to know that just because you're here early on in your career as an intern, which we have 3 interns right now, 2 are about to go full time, but just because you're an intern at the Network Operations Center doesn't mean you chose networking. So we decided to change it and make it the Technical Operations Center.
Yeah. And speaking of that, didn't you start out as an intern? Did you start out?
I did, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I did. I did a year and a half of interning, and I'm coming up on a year of May 4th will be my anniversary for full time.
That's so great. I feel like I wonder, just since Adafio started the intern program, just how many of those individuals ended up moving on to being full-time. Now, it doesn't mean that they stayed, but just that they ended up what a secure path to know that you've transitioned into something that was more full-time.
Mm-hmm. I have, not to, I guess, brag about Adafio's internship program.
Yeah,
but it's been such a great experience for me And I've seen other people, even if they don't stay here, they're
Yeah.
successful professionals at other places. And I can think of specific names. I won't name them, but two of the interns that I worked with have moved on to either work at Adafio or another firm, tech firm. And I've also went as far as telling two other executives that I know personally, they're like, I just don't know what to do about some of my young core. I'm like, interns, if you do it the right way.
Yes.
Adafio does it this way. Interns are a great way to do it, which at least here at Conway Regional, which is where I did it, if you get what I got, which was real enrichment and you really learn something, and throughout the internship, you come out feeling like, even if you're not totally ready, you feel like you have at least a good base knowledge. I mean, there's something to be said about how special that really is. And so I
I
really appreciated Adafio's internship experience. There's a win-win or there's a no deal a lot of times, and the internship is a win-win because the intern gets enrichment and the company gets a seasoned employee when they finally go full time, or at least maybe not totally seasoned, but definitely stronger than just a fresh graduate that has no experience or something if they were going to hire that entry level position. In my opinion, it's such a great.
And then they learn a lot more about the culture and the core values. As you said, they have a little bit more of a seasoned background on the basics of what that company is founded
All
on.
about, yeah,
And all
what
about.
they mean, what their motto and their culture, everything. It's just such a good experience. So I could talk about that all day.
What do you like most about your job, except everything?
The the best part about it is that when I say when the team implements software or a new piece, the most prominent example I can think of is when we pushed out Microsoft 365
Yes.
and Microsoft Teams especially. A lot of people don't like change, especially in the healthcare industry. It was really awesome, and this has happened on multiple occasions, but with that one specifically, it's amazing to see people go from I don't want this, do not get in my face with this, to oh my gosh, I love Teams, thank you so much. Wait, how do you do this again? Oh, that's amazing, I'm going to use this every day. The standpoint that I work at now is I get to see that transition from I hate change to I'm so thankful we changed. And I think that's a pretty great thing about it.
What do you think allowed that to happen with a little less resistance? What do you think? Was it something you guys were offering or how you presented it?
I think it was less how we presented it, and I think it was how much trust we built as a department early on before that happened. Because
With each other too, I would imagine.
yes, with each other, but also just the hospital around the hospital prior to Adafio taking over, even before I was. This is more so Ryan, Kevin, Colby, those guys that were here day one. If you saw it back then, this is a completely different department than it was then. And I think that having a proven track record that's trustworthy, that's fast and on time, and gets things taken care of timely manner and accurately, I think all of those things go into, okay, they're bringing this change in, we'll try it out, and then they're more likely to just go, okay, they're doing what's best for us without us having to really push that on them. So it really makes for a good relationship. And James Reed, the CIO here, has been a huge help for us, I know. So he really is on board with things and doesn't set up a whole lot of roadblocks for us in terms of financials or administrative things that could be a roadblock for us. He moves a lot of them, actually. So it's been a really great thing, and I think that's a big part of it, is that we really, let's say the people that laid those founding steps so that I could benefit from it, we could benefit from it. They really worked hard to build that trust so that people would be a little bit more open to some change. So
if this wasn't your career, but it sounds like you're one of the lucky ones who seems to have found something that you truly enjoy.
Yeah.
You're doing something that really is making a difference in other people's lives. But what would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
If I wasn't doing this, I'd probably be a coach. My son, hopefully one day he'll play basketball or run track or play soccer like I did as a high school student, and maybe beyond one day. But if not, that's okay. but
Yeah.
I probably would coach if I wasn't doing this.
Any particular sport you enjoy over others?
But yeah, I'd coach basketball. I like
Basketball.
basketball.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
My son, my middle son, he and you and him, I would love for you to meet him sometime, maybe at the company party. He's a huge basketball fan. Like
Mhm.
he's destined to want to play pro sports some point,
Oh
And I'm
yeah.
like, hey,
Uh,
reach for the stars. If that's what you want to
go
do,
for it.
he plays hours after school, hours and hours and hours. And he met Coach Musselman at the football game once, and he went up to him with all confidence and grace and politeness, and he shook his hand, and he's like, one day I hope I can play for you. It could
If he's
happen. You never know. But
if he's spending the hours working on it, it's
yeah,
definitely possible.
he did that personality test, and maybe you've done it too, but it showed that you could be, that his strength is to be a coach. But then I was like, it doesn't always have to be about sports. Coaching is also about teaching. It's about guiding. It's about what you're doing right now. You're essentially coaching, and
Yes.
just in a different
I,
manner.
I
So,
was gonna say that as soon as you said that, it's because I went to school to be a physical therapist. Most of my family's medical.
uh-huh.
So I went to school to be physical therapy, and I was like, I don't think I like that very much. So I tried the coaching thing, and then I went to work out in the oil fields for a little bit due to some financial stuff, and worked with some technology stuff, some app development things. I was like, I really like this computer stuff. And then I get here, and I see that, like, that part of coaching that I really like, the education part, the pouring into people part, all of that I still get out of this. So it's still
Yeah.
fulfilling in that way, but I also get to work with computers and technology, and it's great. So
And it's continually learning, and it's changing, and you get to always just fill the cup and give people more knowledge, and
yes,
know that
ma'am.
there's a different method for everybody that you encounter. Like it may not be the same way with that person.
Hmm.
However they learn, it's different. But does your son, does he like at this age, is he starting to show interest in sports and what have you?
He does.
Yeah.
He's really into basketballs.
Uh-huh.
So we have a little goal for him. I don't know if anybody will ever check my social media, but I have a little video of the first time he shot a basketball and made it when he was like 7 or 8 months old, and I was just so excited. So
Oh yeah.
it's pretty great. But his biggest interest, believe it or not, is guitar. So I play some guitar, and not very good at it, but I do
He
play
likes
some. And
it.
oh yeah, I got him a little guitar because he always wanted to play on Daddy's guitar. Daddy's guitar is the
Oh,
best.
I
It's
love
the
it. No,
best.
you've got to nurture what they love now, because it's really quite powerful how that's sometimes what they end up doing is something that they've done when they're little. I've always
Yeah,
believed that. You
yeah.
never know. So what do you like to do when you're not working?
I like to spend time with my family. If you
Mhm.
can't tell, family's a big staple for me. I came from a single parent household. I was the oldest of three siblings in the household. My middle brother is still my best friend to this day. He has a daughter that's a year older than mine, my son, and him and her will come over and they'll hang out with us, and we'll get to just spend time together and just watch them play. It just reminds us of our young days, and it's just the best thing. So I really like to spend family time and just enjoy that.
No, and the fact that you guys live close together is not something you
Yeah.
should ever take for granted. I'm always envious of my brothers live in Colorado, and that's where all my family lives. My mom is the only one that lives here, and so we get together a lot, at least on the weekends.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can completely understand the enjoyment of letting the siblings or the nieces, the cousins hang out and
Hmm.
create memories.
It's pretty
Yeah.
great.
Well, you did tell me a little bit already about how you got to Adafio from as an
Mhm.
intern, but if you could go just a little bit further back into how you became an intern at Adafio, and then what brought you as an intern at Adafio.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started out at UCA, and I told you I took that sabbatical working in the oil fields and some other things.
Yeah.
Well, when I came back, I was pretty dead set on what I was going to do. So I knew for sure my major was MIS, which is what I chose. And they have a club called the BIT Club, the Business and Information Technology Club at the College of Business. I was going to a meeting. I was an officer there, so I was a little bit early, and I saw Amy Beam, who I know her son played football with my brother back when they
Oh.
were in high school. And so I recognized her and I was like, Miss Amy, hi. And she was like, my middle name is Jordan, which is what I like to go by, but she goes, Kennedy, that's my first name. I told her I go by Jordan because she hadn't seen me in a while. And she just kind of got to talking about why she was there. And I said, oh, so interesting. I'm here for the Bit Club too. So I'm an officer here. And then afterwards, she said that Adafio has internships. I should send in a resume and see if everything matches up, if it'll be a good fit. And sure enough, I was looking for a position at the time, and I went to a couple interviews, or 3 interviews. After a good bit of talking, I got an offer to take an internship, and then I accepted it. And then I found out Henry Hill worked here, who I'd known since childhood, which was a pretty cool thing. So I wanted to make sure that I got in, and I was just sold after all of that. It was just seemed like the right thing. I heard great things about Adafio, and it started. And here I am enjoying it every day. So
that's great. Yeah. It's just there's a solid team, and it's supporting one another and challenging one another. But that one team is absolutely, as proof, is there at Conway.
Well, thank you. We definitely try to make it special. So.
Well, I appreciate all this time. Is there anything else you'd love to share with us before I let you get back to it?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity and letting me get to talk to you and finally meet you.
So. Yeah, no, it's been such a pleasure. I enjoy these moments more than you know. And I don't think I have to edit anything, honestly. This makes it so much easier. And I'm always encouraged. And I hope next time I get to meet you in person, and maybe at one team, I'll actually, well, you guys don't ever get to go to those and there, do you?
Not all of us, for sure. Yeah. We'd like to start getting to go, but we still couldn't send everyone, of course.
That's true, because there's got to be some support. I get it.
Somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to stay. So, but yeah.
Well, maybe at least at the company party, though. Those are always a good time if you can make it to that in June. Hopefully it won't be too sweltering. But I am ready for some warm weather and some sunshine and vitamin D.
I'm ready for warm weather and being allowed to spend it. That's what I'm ready for. It's been a long time since we've been able to do that. So.
Indeed. Well, thank you again so much, Jordan, and have a great rest of your week and Monday, and keep helping those out that need it. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much. I will. You have a great day too.
You too.